was attacked, and I think he can share some words of peace with us as well.
One week ago today, the entire world was witness to an unspeakable, mind-numbing tragedy in Mumbai, India. An act of senseless terror that took the lives of nearly 200 innocent people and left hundreds more wounded and maimed. Jewish tradition teaches that every single life is a olam maleh, an entire world in microcosm, each with its very own story, replete with a celebrated past and a blooming, vibrant future. Everyone the world over mourns for all those who lost their lives and prays for the recovery of those wounded, because a world of potential, a world of good, and a world of hope has cruelly been cut short. Amongst the unfortunate victims, the majority of whom were of Indian nationality, were people of other various nationalities as well, 6 of whom were Jews from America and Israel, including my dear colleagues, Rabbi Gabi and Rivka Holzberg, dedicated directors of Chabad of Mumbai since 2003. Motivated by the call of the Lubavitch Rabbi, by his vision of boundless love and service, this young couple chose to go off the beaten path. They chose the life as Chabad Shluchim, as emissaries of the Lubavitch Rabbi, to the far-off city of Mumbai, India. Parenthetically, Chabad is an acronym for the Hebrew words translated as wisdom, understanding, knowledge, and they are currently more than 4,000 emissary families, staffing more than 3,000 Jewish institutions across 47 states and 73 countries, and my wife and I are Chabad representatives to the UC Berkeley campus community. The Holzbergs lived in a crowded section of one of the most populated cities on earth, with zero financial stability and without many of the basic everyday necessities that most of us take for granted. They had every reason to turn around and go back where they came from, as their personal lives was wrought with hardship and heartbreak, with their eldest son having passed away from a debilitating genetic disease and a second son hospitalized in Israel with that very same terminal disease. The Holzbergs were finally blessed with a healthy miracle son, Moshe. But they lived there, where they did, for a reason. To create a bastion of love and warmth, of holiness and purity, the Holzbergs opened their home to thousands of people, Jews from every conceivable affiliation and background, providing a meal, an embrace, a home. Every single night, they served warm kosher dinners to dozens. The American businessman and the Israeli backpacker, the successful and the destitute. They provided counseling and help for people caught up in unhealthy behavior and spiritual inspiration for the many seeking it. And somehow, inconceivably, a place like that, people like that, and specifically targeted for attack, for terror, for murder, the sight sends a chill down the spine. The first floor of the Chabad house once housed a space for groups to dine, the red chairs, with dining tables lie scattered. There is a plate on one table with food left untouched. Several torn prayer books are lying on the floor. Across the room, a painting of Jewish leaders hangs on the wall. The second floor housed the prayer hall, police officials inspecting the building. The screaming, said the third floor was entirely blood-smeared, and it was here that the bodies of the hostages, including Rabbi Gabriel Holzberg and his wife Rivka, were found. Add an even new dimension to this sadness. At the funeral in Israel yesterday, Rivka's father announced that the terrorists had killed yet one more victim, as Rivka was 5 months pregnant. The gruesome aftermath of baseless hatred, evil for the sake of evil, hatred because they were Jewish. We have no words and definitely no answers. This was not only an attack on a rabbi, Jews, or a Jewish center. This is an attack on anyone who values life like the Holzbergs did, goodness, kindness, and peace. Gabi and Rivka were not simply representing Chabad Lubavitch, they were ambassadors for Judaism as a whole and the entire world. They volunteered for a noble task to devote their lives to teaching and reaching out to the entire spectrum of the human condition, and they perished as heroes in the line of duty. Rabbi Gabriel and Rivka Holtzberg stand out as the ultimate antithesis of the darkness that attacked them. We could call it one of the miracles of the last week's tragedy in Mumbai. 2-year-old Moshe Holtzberg and his Indian nanny, Sandra Samuel, were the only ones to make it out of the Chabad house alive. As terrorists stormed the building, Sandra heard the commotion and locked herself in a room. Soon she heard Rivka Holtzberg screaming, "Sandra, Sandra, help, Sandra." She then ran upstairs to find the Holtzberg shot dead, lying on the ground with her son, his hands covered in blood, crying over them. She courageously picked him up and made a dash for the exit, literally risking her life, daring the terrorists to shoot a woman carrying a baby. Like the story of our biblical Moses, our little Moshe was heroically rescued by a non-Jewish woman who selflessly risked her life to answer the cry of a helpless child because she felt inextricably tied to him. She felt the essential oneness which unites us all. Last Friday, little Moshe turned 2 years old, a day on which he himself was miraculously rescued from the Chabad house by a loving nanny. A day which he will mark for the rest of his life as the Yortzeit, death day of both his parents. Moshe doesn't have a mother who will hug him and kiss him. Neither does he have parents to bring him to his bar mitzvah or to escort him to his wedding. But the Jewish community has vowed to take care of him. He is a child of all of Israel, and he will be looked after and loved by 4,000 other Chabad shluchim around the globe.
People might be wondering what we can do here so far away to help the irreversible damage that's been done and help ameliorate the pain. The Lubavitcher Rabbi, whose teachings Gabi and Rivka followed, taught of the need to turn tears into action. Beneath the surface of every terrible experience, there lies the opportunity to grow and increase in goodness. Every step back can and must become the impetus for a giant leap forward. In their death, as in their lives, Gabi and Rivka brought people together from diverse backgrounds, uniting them in the celebration of Judaism. Together across the globe, let us join in ensuring that the lives of the Holtzbergs and the other victims live on by continuing that unity, that enormous outpouring of love and prayer in our own homes and communities, and indeed in the world at large. We will answer the terrorists, but not with AK-47s, not with grenades and tanks. We will add light. We will add good deeds, and the Chabad house in Mumbai will be rebuilt, and it will begin operating again. Tonight, I ask of myself and of each and every one of you to emulate the shining example of Gabi and Rivka Holtzberg, to dedicate our lives a little bit more to goodness and kindness, to true and boundless love of our fellows, to take on one additional mitzvah, a good deed, so that each and every one of us in our own way create a personal Chabad house, a personal space of love and holiness. Chabad International has started a global campaign for goodness and kindness in memory of those murdered. You can go to chabad.org or mitzvotformumbai.org to join with the thousands of others who have pledged to do something good in memory of the victims. There you can choose from a list of suggestions or choose your own personal acts of goodness to be your personal answer to the senseless evil which has perpetrated. A fund has been created for the orphaned baby Moshe, as well as for rebuilding the Chabad of Mumbai. Donations can be made at www.chabadindia.org. May we all merit to celebrate many joyous occasions together and live to see a brighter and better world.